9 common phrases that reveal you were raised by self-centered parents and how it shaped you. The way we were raised can leave a lasting imprint on the way we view ourselves and the world. But what happens when the people who were supposed to nurture and guide us weren't emotionally available or even self-centered? It's easy to dismiss certain behaviors, especially if they're familiar, but certain phrases that parents say can leave lasting scars, influencing our mental health, relationships, and overall sense of self-worth. If you've ever heard any of these phrases growing up, there's a good chance you were raised by self-centered parents. These statements, while often spoken out of frustration or a lack of emotional awareness, can reveal much about a parent's inability to attune to their child's emotional needs. In this blog, we'll explore the subtle and not so subtle impacts of these phrases and offer deeper insights into why they can be damaging. Let's break down these common phrases to help you understand how they might have shaped your childhood and adulthood. 1. Because I said so. This phrase is an authoritarian classic that many parents use to assert their authority. While it might seem harmless, when parents frequently use "because I said so," it means they are avoiding important conversations that help children understand the world around them. Instead of explaining the reasoning behind their actions, parents using this phrase shut down any discussion, which can lead to an emotional disconnection. Children, as a result, often feel unseen or unheard, and their natural curiosity and need for understanding are stifled. Impact on you. If you grew up hearing this phrase often, you may have internalized the idea that your thoughts and opinions don't matter. This can result in struggles with assertiveness later in life, leading to challenges in expressing your needs, desires, or beliefs in relationships or work environments. The emotional disconnect can also make it harder to trust others or engage in meaningful conversations. Healing insight. Understanding that this phrase reflects the parent's inability to engage meaningfully with you can help you begin to break free from the need for external validation. Practice self-expression and seeking clarification in your adult relationships where curiosity and conversation are valued. 2. You're just too sensitive. Parents who use this phrase often fail to acknowledge their child's emotions as valid. By labeling emotional responses as too sensitive, they teach their children to suppress feelings rather than express or understand them. Children need validation for their emotional experiences to develop emotional intelligence and a healthy relationship with their feelings. Impact on you. If you've been told you're too sensitive in your formative years, it's likely that you learn to devalue your emotions and struggle with self-acceptance. You may feel guilty or ashamed for expressing vulnerability, or find it difficult to stand up for yourself when your emotional needs aren't met. As an adult, you may suppress feelings until they explode, or avoid emotional intimacy altogether to prevent vulnerability. Healing insight. Recognize that your emotions are natural and deserving of respect. Acknowledge your feelings and learn how to express them healthily, starting with small steps such as journaling or speaking openly about your emotional experiences with trusted individuals. 3. You're ruining my life. Sometimes parents, out of frustration, say this when their plans or desires are disrupted by their child's needs or actions. It's a manipulative tactic that puts undue pressure on the child to take responsibility for the parent's happiness or emotional state. It shifts the burden of emotional well-being onto the child, creating feelings of guilt, shame, and confusion. Impact on you. If you were told this growing up, you may struggle with feelings of inadequacy, as if your presence is a burden on others. You may internalize a fear of disappointing others and feel responsible for their happiness, leading to a pattern of overcompensating or neglecting your own needs to please those around you. Healing insight. Start practicing healthy boundaries. Acknowledge that other people's emotional struggles are not your responsibility. Begin to separate your self-worth from how others feel, recognizing that their happiness isn't contingent upon your actions. 4. I work hard for this family, so you should appreciate everything I do for you. While parents often sacrifice their time and energy to provide for their families, when this phrase is used repeatedly, it creates an environment where love and care feel transactional. Parents should give with love, not out of obligation, but when they use this phrase, it implies that their efforts should be reciprocated with gratitude, rather than accepted as an act of love. Impact on you. Being raised with this attitude can leave you with a deep sense of guilt when you receive help, or a sense of obligation to pay back favors or gifts. It may also cause you to feel like you are undeserving of affection or care unless you earn it. These emotional conditions can undermine your sense of worthiness in relationships and contribute to difficulties in receiving love without guilt. Healing insight. Cultivate gratitude, not as a transactional obligation, but as a natural response to the kindness you receive. Practice accepting help or love without feeling you owe something in return. Seek relationships where mutual respect and unconditional love are present. 5. You'll never amount to anything if you don't do things my way. This phrase reflects a parent's desire to control their child's life, often stemming from their own fear or insecurity. Instead of fostering independence and individuality, parents who use this line attempt to impose their own desires and dreams onto their children. This overbearing need for control can limit a child's ability to explore their own interests and develop confidence in their decision-making abilities. Impact on you. If this was a frequent phrase in your home, it's likely you grew up with a diminished sense of self-esteem, doubting your ability to make choices or lead your own life. As an adult, you may find it difficult to trust your intuition or step into new opportunities due to a deep fear of failure or making the wrong choice. Healing insight. Learn to trust your own voice. Practice small acts of autonomy by making decisions, big or small, and allowing yourself to experience the results without self-judgment. Over time, you'll build the confidence to pursue your own passions, even if they differ from others' expectations. 6. Don't be selfish. While parents intend to teach their children the importance of considering others, when this phrase is used excessively, it can imply that a child's needs or desires are always secondary to those of others. This fosters guilt and self-neglect, leading children to believe that self-care is a form of selfishness. Impact on you. This phrase can leave you with a distorted view of self-care, making it hard to prioritize your own needs without feeling guilty. You may have difficulty saying no to others, even when it's at the expense of your own well-being. Healing insight. Recognize that self-care isn't selfish, it's essential. Begin to practice setting boundaries and honoring your own needs, and understand that caring for yourself enables you to show up as your best self for others. 7. You're lucky I'm even doing this for you. This phrase puts the child in a position of indebtedness, making them feel like they're asking too much by simply receiving care or support. It removes the warmth from the act of giving, creating an emotional imbalance. Impact on you. Hearing this line can cause you to feel unworthy or ashamed of your needs. It can lead to difficulties in asking for help later in life, and even foster a sense of being undeserving of kindness, love, or support. Healing insight. Shift your mindset from I owe to I deserve. Recognize that love and support should be freely given, and that asking for help is a healthy part of human connection. 8. I didn't have it easy, so why should you? While it's common for parents to want their children to be strong, this phrase implies that hardship is a necessary part of life. Instead of nurturing emotional resilience, it can inadvertently promote an unhealthy workaholic mindset or a deep sense of inadequacy. Impact on you. This mindset can leave you feeling that hardships are inevitable, causing you to push through difficult situations without seeking emotional support. You may struggle with self-compassion and feel reluctant to accept or express vulnerability. Healing insight. Embrace the idea that life doesn't have to be difficult for it to be meaningful. Learn to identify and embrace support when you need it, and understand that challenges can be part of personal growth without always requiring struggle. 9. It's not a big deal, you're just overreacting. This dismissive phrase invalidates a child's emotional experiences, making them feel that their feelings aren't worth exploring or understanding. It leads to emotional confusion as children begin to second-guess themselves, unsure of whether their emotions are truly valid. Impact on you. Growing up with this phrase can create an internal battle between what you feel and what you believe you should feel. You may become disconnected from your emotions, finding it hard to express or trust your emotional instincts as an adult. Healing insight. Allow yourself to feel your emotions without judgment. Practice self-validation and recognize that your feelings are real and deserve attention. Over time, this will allow you to foster more authentic emotional connections with others. Why understanding these phrases matters. The phrases listed above aren't just simple words. They reveal deep patterns of behavior that can shape your worldview. Recognizing these phrases and their effects is the first step in breaking free from the emotional patterns they created. Healing starts with awareness. By acknowledging how these words shaped you, you can begin the journey to emotional liberation, understanding that your needs, feelings, and boundaries are valid and important. As you work through the impact these phrases had on your upbringing, remember that it's never too late to heal. Therapy, mindfulness practices, and open conversations with those you trust can help you shift these learned behaviors and create healthier, more fulfilling relationships. Final thoughts. Whether you're currently navigating the effects of a self-centered upbringing or you're seeking ways to avoid passing on similar habits to your children, understanding the underlying dynamics of these phrases is key. The goal isn't to point fingers at your parents, but to recognize the ways these phrases influenced your personal growth. With patience and self-compassion, you can begin to change these patterns and create a life based on empathy, self-awareness, and authentic connection.